I put on some waterproof mascara, so we're ready.
Damn, I should have done it.
Hello, and welcome to Hot Docs, the show with hot wings, hot questions, and even hotter doctors. I'm Cindy Rand at M4 at Iowa's Carver College of Medicine. I'm joined today by Roshan Abid. He started off as a juice bar employee in West Des Moines, and now, over 10 years later, he's a fourth-year dermatology resident at Iowa. Roshan, welcome to Hot Docs.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here.
All right, are you ready for our first wing and our first question?
I'm ready.
All right, this is the hot sauce of choice for the first one.
Let's do it.
All right, so Roshan, as a fourth-year derm resident, we've spent a ridiculous amount of time thinking about skin.
Oh, yeah.
What's your ideal skincare routine? You know, keeping in mind that our audience is largely broke and short on time.
That's a great question. It's funny because I'm like a minority in dermatology in the sense that I'm one of the guys there. And so I'm like very classically like 2-in-1 conditioner, shampoo. You know, I'm probably not the best person to ask, but I can really resonate with the people that are more for the simplicity is best situation. The best thing I think you can use is just anything with like retinol or retinoic acid. Tretinoin is going to be really good for you. That does a really good job of just maintaining that smooth skin texture, reducing age spots over time and wrinkles. For me, sometimes I use just like an acne foaming facial cleanser in the shower if I have time. So I'm pretty, I resonate a little more with the broke medical student, but not a lot of time. I'm probably not the best skincare person.
Keep it simple, keep it stupid.
Yeah, and if I gave you too many secrets, I'm going to lose my patience. So I can't tell you everything.
What is the best and cheapest thing that you can buy from over in the store to put on your face?
I think moisturizing goes a long way, especially in these cold winter months that get really dry. I like just like the Target brand, any sort of ointment, anything you scoop out of the jar is typically nice and thick enough to use. There's like a CeraVe or Cetaphil equivalent, but it's not as cheap as the brand, like the Target one. So those are
off-brand's okay.
Off-brand's totally fine.
All right.
Just use it whenever you can.
Okay. Anything else that we should know about our skincare routine?
No, I think moisturizing is really important. Wear your sunscreen when you're outside for long periods of time, or even if you're just going to go out and do your day, have a facial moisturizer with sunscreen or SPF in it. And then just doing stuff to kind of maintain your normal skin turnover, like tretinoin would be perfect.
What's the weirdest thing a patient has ever put on their skin?
Oh, man. The weirdest thing a patient has ever put on their skin. I will say we did have a patient come in one time who said that she was reading about how her skin is covered in staph epidermidis. She read online. And then she also found that staph epidermidis can cause like a biofilm. This isn't technically she put something on her skin, but she had it on her skin. And so she felt that her entire skin was encompassed by a biofilm created by staph epidermidis. And so we were kind of like trying to build a relationship with her over time. And it was like, okay, we started with the topical antibiotic ointment. She's like, it's not strong enough. And then we did like oral doxycycline. She's like, it's not strong enough. And she was asking to be admitted to get IV antibiotics. And we were like, we don't have admitting privileges. Like we couldn't do that if we wanted to. But we do get a large population of patients that are very fixated on their skin, and it's fun to kind of manage that problem as well, I think.
That's quite a story.
Factually, she wasn't wrong, but she was also factually incorrect, so it was pretty tough.
All right. Are you ready to move to wing two?
Let's do wing two. It's a good first taste. The spice kind of kicks in quick.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I wasn't expecting that, but it's here. Okay. All right, Roshan.
Yes, ma'am.
It was halfway done with your last year of residency.
Oh, yeah. Don't remind me.
After managing pretty much everything from acne to melanoma, what is your pitch to the undecided medical student to do derm? What would you say makes dermatology worth the hustle and makes it the specialty to be beat?
Oh, man. That's a great question. And that's got a good kick to it. So I'd say like, do what you want to do. You know, like not everybody wants to do dermatology, which is fine. We need people to do other stuff and we need people to do dermatology. So like, you don't want to do it, go do something else that you're going to enjoy more. and then we can work together to take the best care. That is spicy, man.
No kidding. Gotta finish that before it got too much.
Okay, we're back. So, yeah, we need, you need every player in the game. Why I chose dermatology, I feel like everybody else talked about, like, you need to figure out if you're internal medicine or surgery or, like, medical side or surgical side. But I feel like there's a lot of specialties with overlap with the two, and I like the two of them. So I try to gravitate towards one that I feel had a good representation of both. What I try to figure out first is if I'm more inpatient or outpatient. And I feel like I was more outpatient because I liked having a pretty like routine schedule that I could rely on. So I was really between like family medicine, GI, and dermatology. And I was on a bunch of GI rotations, and I was like talking to a patient for like 40 minutes about like, oh man, no, I'm good. They were like, oh man, I have like abdominal pain here, but sometimes it's here, sometimes it moves here, sometimes it's throbbing, sometimes it radiates, it hurts when I eat this sometimes. And I was like, man, after 40 minutes of history, I am no better off in knowing what the differential is than where I was before. Then I went to derm, and you walk into a room and you're like, hey, there's the rash. Let me ask you like 2 questions. And then I have a diagnosis, and I have a really short attention span. And so from there, it kind of like fit all the boxes of like it had procedures, it was outpatient, and it really fit my really short attention span. And so it kind of was like, I've never had a bad day since, honestly.
Are you ready for wing 3?
I'm ready for wing 3.
All right.
I think there's more tears to be had.
Definitely more tears to be had. All right. This is Dave's Gourmet Insanity Sauce.
Insanity.
All right.
Cheers.
Yeah, we can cheers. We can cheers away.
There's a lot of sauce on this one, guys.
Guys, you really were heavy-handed on this. I'm waiting for it to kick in.
Yeah, not bad off the jump.
I know it's going to hit, though.
Mm-hmm. It always does.
It always does.
Old reliable.
All right. Take a break for a second.
What question are we rocking with?
All right. What is something surprising about you that you want our audience to know?
Something surprising about me. My interview answer on residency for this on residency interviews was, it's kind of like a boring, fun, easy one, but I cut my own hair.
You still do that?
I still do. I started.
Good.
Yeah. Thank you. I appreciate that. There's been a lot of bad haircuts to get to this point.
Finally locked in and perfected.
I still mess up a lot, but what I've learned over time is that like, it's one of those things where like when you mess something up, only you can notice it.
Yeah.
Like I'll ask friends and family like, oh yeah, I messed it up behind I shaved a bald spot. They're like, I don't see it at all. And then you point it out. They're like, now I see it,
Mm-hmm.
This one really focuses on the back of the throat, where the last wing was kind of on the lips.
Yeah,
so now we're really covering all our bases here, which is awesome.
It's starting to hit. I was trying to get through it as fast as I could.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if that was a good strategy or bad.
I don't know either.
I know that was your kind of residency interview answer, but
yeah, what's
something intangible about you though that really sets you apart?
The ability to like connect with someone in a really short visit, I think is like the most intangible and like unteachable skill to have. And I still work on it daily.
Yeah.
Like it's something that I feel like I'm not, you're constantly working on and perfecting at. Man.
Well, you've had a lot of interesting jobs, it sounds like. Were any of those jobs like things that taught you that skill? Because like I know personally I waited tables for a long time. Yeah. So that was something like I did every night.
I think any career in service will help you understand, like, it'll help you understand working with people and their different levels of like patience tolerance for whatever service you're providing, basically.
Yeah.
When you walk into a room, you never know what you're going to get, and you never know what their interests are going to be. But being able to adapt on the fly and like understand how to connect with somebody is really important, I think.
Yeah, I think that's a great skill to have that you can't teach people.
No.
If you're taller. Yeah, you do.
I'm not tolerating this one well.
Me either.
I'm going to muscle through the next 2 and then cry probably for a while.
The other 5?
There's 5? 4. Oh,
thank
nice.
God. We only have one more then.
We have one more. We're good.
All right, here's the last one. All right. So, Roshan, you're quite a charismatic guy.
Thank you.
Some people might even go as far to say that you could be a medfluencer. How do you feel about medfluencers?
I hate them, but yeah, I don't know, man. I gotta really just unpack that statement, but I'm really dealing with the heat here, so really sit on that for a second. I think medfluencers One of the things I hate most is like blanket statements.
How do you feel about medfluencers?
I hate them, but one of the things I hate most is like blanket statements. I hate like all patients that have this. Like you can't ever say for certain, 100% of people have one thing. So for me to say I hate all medfluencers is probably inappropriate. I hate the unrealistic expectation they set for medical students. Medical students had like one of the highest incidence rates of mental health disorders in any population. And I think that's like coinciding with the kind of person it attracts. And so when you add something that's like really popular of like, hey, I'm actually, waking up at 6 a.m. to work out and then studying all day and doing my classes and acing them, it really can put people on like a imposter syndrome type. Like, man, I can't even like manage my class load, let alone like do the stuff you're doing. My tongue is melting.
I'm thinking the same thing. I think my actual entire face is gonna melt off.
No, man, I can't do bread.
I'm
Too
not
many
as tough as
carbs. Too many
Roshan.
carbs.
Dude, you've got like 100 cups of milk. I hate to breathe.
Shut up, dude.
How do you feel about like dermatology specific medfluencers? Like these dermatologists that, don't practice or barely practice and they...
Oh man, I hate those even more. I think, oh my God, my tongue is on fire.
Sit, you're doing fine.
Externally, yes. Internally, fighting demons.
Yeah, this is tough. The tough part about dermatology is that there's not a lot of things that are like clinical trial supported. So it's easy for somebody to find like a couple case reports and then make a medfluencer video that's like, hey, I think you guys should do this because this is a new thing. Here's some data to support it. And then like any layperson, you look at that and be like, yeah, this is my new thing. My video supports it. I believe it. So it's a really big opportunity for misinformation to be spread. And that makes it really difficult to combat in the real world. So
yeah, how do you deal with this? I mean, I've even experienced this, How do you deal with patients that, that come in and are like, I saw this ad on TV,
yeah,
I want X drug.
I'm super hands-off in the sense that I'm like, here's what the massive data supports. Here's what I recommend typically. The other thing you've suggested is like not super well supported by data, but if you've tried it and you like it and you can afford it, I'm not going to stop you from doing it. So like, I'm very like, this is your choice, but here's the information I can provide. I like to leave things up to the patient's hand because at the end of the day, it's like a very patient, shared decision making. I like to enforce patient autonomy. But yeah, that's like, it's a difficult thing to manage for sure.
Yeah. If you were to become one, what would be your dream brand deal?
I think Roshan's Lotions rolls off the tongue pretty good. So I'd probably kind of like go with any sort of lotion company like Aveeno or CeraVe wants to jump on that.
Okay. All right. I'm in on that. All right. Well, Roshan, it's been great to have you on the show. Neither of us fully died. So
neither of us even noticed the heat.
Yeah. I don't know what you guys saw, but I didn't feel a single thing.
This is how I eat normally. All my meals are consumed. I cry and blow my nose at all my
if I don't drink at least 2 glasses of milk with a meal, it's not a meal.
This is a normal meal for me.
Exactly. Anything you want to plug or throw out to our many audience members that will see this?
Me, I'm the viewer. This is like the only preachy time I get about anything. As you go through your medical school career and then go into residency and then your career thereafter, everything's just not working down here.
It's just not healthy.
Never lose sight or like the memory of like how hard you worked and how bad you wanted to get to med school. And then now as you M4s like go into residency interviews, it becomes really anxiety inducing of like, where am I going to go? Where am I going to get interviews? Where my rank list going to put me? And the second you match, it's easy for all those emotions to just be in like the rearview mirror. And like, whenever you have that like really difficult patient that walks into your room right before your shift ends or something, and you're like, man, this sucks. Like, I really urge people not to forget how bad they wanted to be in the shoes they're in today and not lose sight of like, if being where I've always dreamed of being requires me to be seeing a patient at 5 p.m. when I was planning on going home and the patient has like a bunch of complex medical problems and social problems, and it requires a lot of coordination. That's a small price to pay for like doing what I get to do and love to do every day. And so if you can use that little token to remind yourself on the toughest days of residency, no day will ever be that bad. So that's my little preachy thing.
That's some great insight.
Thanks for having me, Sid. I appreciate it.
This was awesome. Yeah.
God, that sucked, dude. That was.
Need more milk?
I feel like I'm numb.
I haven't drank this much milk in years. We have a dot phrase that's like, recommend like SPF, whatever, avoid tanning beds. And people don't read our dot phrases when they put them in. They just put them in and write them out.
Yeah.
So there was a streak of like residents that were writing that dot phrase in like our like peds patients that were like 12 months old. They're like, make sure you avoid tanning beds. And our pediatric dermatologist had to send an email out that was like, stop writing avoid tanning beds to my infant children patients. Or like, that made me laugh quite a bit.